So we like to think all of our students are special. They're all important. They're all a great story. But this is a really, really a little bit extra special story, I think, here. I set a bucket list thing a few years ago of wouldn't it be nice if we could get one of our children to a university in the United States. And most of you know we pick our kids for high school based on an exam they take at the end of primary school. And historically, the girls score quite a bit lower than the boys, not because they're not as smart, but for a whole lot of reasons beyond their control. They've missed a lot of school. And so and I monitor all this, quite a bit here. Well, this young lady, Christina Akoth, when she graduated from primary school, she had by far the highest score anybody from the village of Dago ever had, by far. Boy, girl, didn't matter. And so when she gets into high school, she gets to go to an elite level of schools called national schools. And she went to Alliance Girls High School, which is generally considered the best high school for girls in the country. And so by about her second year of high school, I kind of decided, boy, this is the one. This should be our first person that we get to university here in the United States. To be frank, at the time, I was pretty naive as to all it would take, but what the heck. Now, in Kenya, as Christine knows, and maybe Christine doesn't know this, they're very different in a lot of ways that they keep track of data. In Kenya, everybody knows everybody's rank. So like if one of you out there are number one in a class of 100, everybody knows that. It's public. If I'm number 100 in that class, everybody also knows that too. Something that we wouldn't do here in the United States. So Christine, when she graduated from the Dago primary school, she was the big fish in Dago. She was number one. She now gets to high school, and now she's at a high school with girls from all over the country, the smartest girls from all over the country, and she was literally in the bottom 20% when she started. She actually graduated in the top 30 girls in the country. And as Allison was saying earlier, she's a freshman at Elmhurst University. So I'll just take you quickly through the pictures here. On the left on your screen, that's a picture of Christine in high school. Then with the Elmhurst t-shirt on, that's back in Dago in front of the home that Christine is at now, her parents' home, Mama Pamela and Duncan. I brought her a couple of Elmhurst t-shirts and some other Elmhurst stuff for her and her parents. So that was in Dago. In the bottom left, that is Christine and her mom and dad at the Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Nairobi. We arranged for a van to basically take her and some other members of her family too, because they wanted to see her off. For all of them, this was the very first time they ever were going to an airport. So that's Christine saying goodbye to her mom and dad. And you're going to see, well, you'll see a little bit of video on this in a moment here. On the right side, there is Christine in her dorm room at Elmhurst. My wife, who loves making gift baskets, made a few of them for her, and that's Christine opening one of the gift baskets. And the next one there is Christine in line on the first day of orientation. I spent much of orientation with her. Bottom right there is at O'Hare Airport. The poor girl, she flew from Nairobi to Amsterdam. A 5-hour layover became a 7-hour layover, gets to Chicago, and it's 2 hours through immigration and comes out pretty exhausted, but she made it and we're very proud of her. So go to the next slide, please, Allison. So all the same pictures, but I want to talk a little bit more about this here. So when we picked her up, and some of you know Billy Surges. Billy is a former student of mine at Bartlett High School. Billy actually has a theater degree from Elmhurst, and it's really just coincidence that it's the same Elmhurst University that Christine goes to. And Billy came with me because he's putting together a documentary on our foundation. He did over 40 hours of video in Kenya. He's done a bunch more since then. The video will be about the foundation, but it is also going to highlight Christine, who we called the girl from the village. And you can see in the bottom there, you're going to see the actual video in a moment. But when Christine came through the doors, the poor girl was exhausted. She came up to me and gives me a big hug and basically doesn't want to let go. And she was crying, and certainly not sad tears, but I guess all the emotion of the whole trip, everything just came out. So where it says two questions of Christine's. So to give you an idea of the range of this young lady's thinking, who is a very, very bright young woman, did very well in the SAT. She is placed out to start in math, to start at calculus. So she's a whole lot smarter than me. But two of her questions. One of the first questions in the car was, how far is the river from Elmhurst University? So she knows where to go to wash her clothes and bathe. And because that was her world, that's all she knew. A few minutes later, she asked me how she can get to Netflix. So her questions range between those two spectrums. And a few days later, I was having breakfast with her. One of the many things we bought her was some Tide Pods. And her RA showed her how to use the washing machine and dryer that's very close to her room. We're eating breakfast, and she had a big smile, and she says, Brett, I did my wash last night. And she was all excited. You learned how to use the washing machine and dryer. And I said to her, that's a whole lot better than having to go to the river, isn't it? And she goes, yeah, it's a whole lot better than doing that.